Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Women's Sports Matter podcast. Everyone, you should know by now, but I am your host, Janabel Castro. If you are new to listening to this podcast because of today's episode topic, hey, what's up? I talk about women's sports because they're important. So if you also like women's sports and not just politics, subscribe. Today we are going to be highlighting some folks who will be running in 2022 to unseat some, how do I say this correctly, Republicans who are really, really bad and should not have a seat in Congress. Does that sound better than something I would have said? That is probably the best way that I could put it, for sure. For sure. But yeah. So first we're gonna hear about today's sponsor, Anchor, and then we're gonna get right into things. Doesn't that sound like so much fun? I know. So yeah, we're gonna talk about politics today because besides women's sports, that is also one of the other things that I am passionate about. This is not just a women's sports podcast, even though the name, Gianna, the name, yikes, I know the name is Women's Sports Matter Podcast, but I have a bunch of other episodes that are titled Off Topic Discussion. And I have listeners from across the country. So if they're like confused or don't know how to vote, yeah. Plus I want to shed light on these people because there's just so much bad stuff going on with these DC folks, with the insurrection almost 2 months ago and everything like that. These people have to go. They have to leave. They're so bad. Oh my God. Okay, so let's head to commercial break. Let's hear about today's sponsor, Anchor, and then we'll get right into things. Play that ad read. Hey everyone, it's Gianna Belcastro from the Women's Sports Matter podcast, and today I'm going to be discussing the sponsor of this show, Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Welcome back, everyone. I'm excited to talk about today's topic, of course, because like I said previously, before we went to that beautiful, absolutely outstanding commercial break, of course, that besides women's sports, the other thing I'm interested in politics is, and I don't know why that may be. So even though I have a small platform, I still have a platform, and I want to talk about some Democrats running to unseat. What is the best way to explain this? Like I did earlier. Democrats running to unseat Republicans who are really, really bad. That's the best way to put it. And basically don't do anything. They're so bad. They're expired. We need to throw them out. That's a great way to put it. Okay, nice job, Gianna. The first one is in the state of California, whatever district this is. Jesus Christ. What is it? This dude's name is Bruno Amato. He is looking to unseat Kevin McCarthy, who is currently the minority leader in the House of Representatives. Yay! So a little bit about this dude, if you don't know anything about him. Bruno's parents immigrated from Italy in search of a better life in America. His dad was a tailor and his mother was a factory worker. And he has 3 siblings, so that's fun. Now let's move into the stuff that is actually important. What does he want to focus on if he gets elected? The first thing listed on here is labor unions. And the thing highlighted at the bottom of this. It wasn't long before Bruno realized the value of a union. A fair day's pay for a fair day's work. Bruno found more than just gainful employment in the Ironworkers Union. He found a brotherhood, a community united in purpose. I think that we need more labor unions, period. Just because why wouldn't you? Oof. We need unions. Period. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Also listed is healthcare, Medicare for all. If that's a little progressive for you, then what? Like, imagine not having to pay a hospital bill or a bill for an ambulance ride or for a checkup to realize that you don't drink enough water. The last one might have happened to me. Over 33 million Americans are uninsured and 40 million can't afford the cost of their copays or deductibles. So, yeah. We need healthcare, folks. Ooh. His next issue listed is the economy. So the thing goes back to talking about unions, and he wants he's going to fight for the PRO Act, which would give workers more bargaining power. And he says that he is 100% for raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Let's do a little history lesson here. According to the research that I've done about the minimum wage, our federal minimum wage in the United States should be at $27 right now. And that is due to inflation, I believe. So $7.25 is not enough. And for all these old white Republicans in Congress, in the Senate, I should say, talking about how they barely made anything, and that's what made them work even harder to get a better wage or whatever, doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. How can someone making, my friend did the math one day, $14,000 a year, say that is a living wage? That is taking $7.25 and then doing the math if you work every day. That's 1 year. $14,000 is not a living wage. Granted, the $15 still isn't. What is wrong with America? We're supposed to be at $27.50 right now. Unbelievable. And then 2 Republican senators want to make it $10 an hour or whatever. No. It's too low, period. I do support $15, but it's supposed to be $27. It is supposed to be $27. Yikes. And that's the issues that are listed on his page. Let's move on. We have next Jeffrey Seitz, who is fighting to become the next person from Ohio's 4th Congressional District to be in the House of Representatives. He would unseat Jim Jordan if elected. Now, in Jim Jordan's 7 years in the House of Representatives, he has not done anything, basically. He's had 0 bills or whatever. He has not written any legislation at all. I mean, the thing that he just did with running to waste taxpayer money and start a committee to talk about cancel culture is ridiculous. That is stupid. Moving on. Jeffrey Seitz is from the 4th District of Ohio, born and raised. He's decided to run in Congress because he was tired of career politicians who offered pandering and empty promises, who didn't understand what lives were like and didn't care. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's go to his issues tab on his website. I'm going to link all these websites down below for everyone who wants to take a look for themselves. If you want to donate, you can to these people. So he doesn't have like a set thing. Do I want to read all this? He wants to better leadership in Washington. So basically that means elect him. He wants gerrymandering and voter suppression to be stopped. I also agree with that. Gerrymandering is such a bad thing. I didn't even know what it was until I took government over the summer 2 years ago. Gerrymandering is literally the worst. He believes that climate change is real, and it is. So I think he supports a Green New Deal. Medicare for all. Let's see. Wants more science-based stuff. Wants to help with the economy. Yeah. So that's some stuff there. Next up, in North Carolina, where one of the worst... actually, all these people are pretty bad. Y'all know Madison Cawthorn, the liar from North Carolina's 11th district, who said that he was once preparing for the Paralympic Games when that wasn't true, where he once said that he was gonna enlist in the Navy or whatever, but that wasn't true either because he was rejected from the Navy. The one who has a bunch of sexual assault allegations against him from a ton of people before he even ran for Congress, and during that campaign and now. So this dude's really bad. And I really hope that this dude is not reelected in 2022 because he sucks. Sure, yeah, he's the youngest representative elected right now at 25 years old. But he's really, really bad. And I don't want him to be the representation of young people in the House. So let's talk about who's running in the 11th district. We have Jasmine Beach Ferreira, who is running. Now let's talk about her. Her first little thing about why she's running is Cawthorn has failed the families in the district. Not only did he spew dangerous conspiracy theories about our election and help fire up a violent crowd to attack our capital, he was more focused on self-promotion than serving Western North Carolinians. And I do believe that is true. And with a lot of these people who are I'm talking about here today and highlighting the opponents, they're all like self-promoting. They really don't do much for their area. But yeah, let's talk about her more. She is currently the Buncombe County Commissioner. I don't know if I said that right. An ordained minister in the United Church of Christ, and the founding executive director of the Campaign for Southern Equality. So Jamie was born and raised in North Carolina. Her mom was a single mother who was a public health nurse. And she says that her faith is one of the biggest parts in her life. I saw on her Twitter today her talking about how let me pull it up so I can see it and read it from there, because I don't want to get that wrong. That'd be really rude if I did that. Let's see here. From her tweet from 10 hours ago, from when I'm recording, it says, "I'm Democrat Jasmine Beach Ferrara, and I'm running against Madison Cawthorn. As a gay woman, Christian minister, mom of 3, I've heard you can't all of my life. I'm ready to prove the skeptics wrong again." And that's cool, you know? Because what's not to love about a gay preacher being in Congress? It was a joke, everyone. This is pretty cool, actually. Like, imagine if Cawthorn gets unseated by a gay woman. That's ridiculously funny. So let's see here. What does she have any issues on here? No, she doesn't. But I'm pretty sure it's like the same thing as all the other ones. Her campaign was just launched today. So, the more and more stuff comes out, you're just gonna have to check out the website for yourselves or her Twitter. You know? Okay, moving on. Next up, we have Carrie Donovan for Congress, who is running against Lauren Boebert, however the hell you say her name, I don't really care, in the Colorado's 3rd District. Carrie Donovan is a state senator, I believe. And she is also for Medicare for all. Drought relief is a big thing, I'm assuming, on that side of the country. In 2014, when she was elected, she won a tough race in a rural swing district to get elected to the Colorado State Senate. Since then, she's worked on issues facing that community by lowering healthcare premiums, reducing insulin cost, stopping surprise out-of-network billing, providing drought relief, expanding broadband access, and protecting public lands. And she says at the end of that paragraph, "I've gotten things done because I'll work with anyone, regardless of their party," which is important to say. And I think these other people would also say the same thing. But yeah, let's see if there's an issues tab on here. She doesn't really have tabs on our website, but she's like, we've covered the basics. Okay, cool. Moving on. This dude doesn't have a website yet from what I've seen, but his name is Marcus Flowers, and he is going to run against, with a bunch of other people are running against Marjorie Taylor Greene, but in Georgia's 14th congressional district. But yeah, he's running against Marjorie Taylor Greene. So he is from Georgia, I believe, born and raised. And I don't know if I have to say this here, but I'll say it if y'all don't know. Marjorie Taylor Greene sucks. Like, she mocked Representative Marie Newman, who is from the Illinois 3rd Congressional District. She mocked Newman's trans daughter. Like, who does that? Marjorie Taylor Greene is so bad. Like, out of all of these, I don't know who's the worst. We have Boebert, we have McCarthy, we have Marjorie Taylor Greene, Madison Cawthorn. All these people are bad, and they need to be thrown out because they're expired. Okay? Moving on to the last one. This one is in the Senate. His name is Alan Ellison, and he is running to unseat Marco Rubio, who is a Republican senator in the state of Florida. Florida has 2 Republican senators, Rubio and Rick Scott. And both of those people, oh no. But Ellison was born and raised in Florida. He grew up in Highlands County. No, he was born in Highlands County and was born and raised in Hardee County. He has ran a few times, I believe, but he had to drop out of the race for some reason. I saw on his Twitter. But let's look at the issues, See what he's about. Women's rights, veterans affairs, the environment, people with disabilities, seniors, healthcare, immigration reform, LGBTQ plus, jobs in the economy, gun safety, education, and criminal justice. I'm not going to read through all of these because I don't want to. But then again, if you're in Florida and if you don't know who to vote for, again, link down below is Alan Ellison's website. So that was fun talking about all these people for like 19 minutes. There we go, Gianna. That's fun. My mouth hurts now. This is like reading and talking is not fun. I know that already because I've done that on this podcast before when I'd read off something, but that's why I don't do scripts. Because if I did scripts, I'd be out of breath. Anyway, maybe doing this, talking about these people, can lead to me interviewing one of these people and, I don't know, talking with them and seeing what they're about. Even though I am from Illinois' 14th district, when I have one of the best representatives in the game, Representative Lauren Underwood, of course, who flipped this district. Was it 4 years ago? No. When did she run? When I was a junior. 3 years ago? Math is really hard. And then she beat out loser Jim Oberweis, who has only won one race in his entire life. So that's fun. He's like 1-8 now. Yeah. But yeah, Illinois got some great representatives. We're the best in the game. I do like Representative AOC because she's great. Presley's also good. Omar's good. I love the progressives because they're really fighting for the people, Who knows, one day I may run as a progressive myself. Don't get too far ahead of yourself, Gianna. I still gotta get through college first. So I'm gonna go and do some college work because school's hard. and I hate homework, but I still have to do it anyway. I'm also sitting in the dark, and if I turn on the light, it'll make a sound. Um, that note was not important, but I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Women's Sports Matter podcast. If you like what you listen to, subscribe. I talk about women's sports, so that's fun, and politics sometimes, and other issues going on in the world. If you missed my last episode, which was U.S. soccer needs to do better, it talks about Seth Yan and all the crazy, crazy stuff that he said in a 6-minute racist rant. So I talk about how he needs to actually do research before he makes baseless claims and racist remarks. Yeah. Next week on Tuesday, I am going to have a guest to talk about climate change. So we're really kicking it with the the real issues going on in this country. Also, I got into the University of Connecticut today, so I'm going on a high today. I'm in a really good mood. Oh my god. I got into the University of Connecticut. Isn't that cool? That is really cool. Oh my god, it's like the school that I've always wanted to go to since I was little. And of course it's a 14-hour drive away because Gianna picked the most the school that is so far away. Good luck getting back home for breaks and stuff. No. I don't know where I'm going to school yet, but I got into another school and I really like that. So yeah. If you don't already follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter and Instagram. On Twitter, you can follow me at WSM Podcast. I post when I have an episode. I also post some memes, some hot takes. And if you are listening to this podcast and you want to be a guest on this podcast, you can send me a DM or you can send me an email. My email is linked down below. So if you're a politician that I talked about today and you happen to be listening to this beautiful podcast, and you want to come on and talk about some issues and stuff, yeah, do that. On Instagram, you can follow me, Women's Sports Matter. I post when I have an episode on there as well, and I also post some key moments in women's sports history. Like the other day, I posted about Sabrina Ionescu when she reached 2,000 points, 1,000 assists, and 1,000 rebounds, which was such an amazing game to watch live. That game was really, really good, and I literally screamed so loud and shouted and danced around when she got that because I've been watching her since I was a sophomore in high school. So to see that happen and to see her game progress was really cool. So follow me on social media if you want to know when I have episodes out and if you want to see some extra content like 5-minute clips of episodes as well. I do that sometimes if I happen to be editing that. So yeah. Thank you again so much for listening to another episode of the Women's Sports Matter podcast. Again, I'm your host, Gianna Castro. I really appreciate everyone listening to this podcast. Again, it's a hobby of mine, and we're almost coming up on a year since I've started this. I started the podcast in April, at the end of April, but my first episode came out in May, I think. So that's really cool. I don't know what I'm going to do for that, but yeah. Thank you again for listening. Follow me on social media. Donate to these politicians if you have the money to do so. Again, all their websites are linked down below. We're still in a pandemic, even though states like Texas and Mississippi have removed restrictions for mask wearing. I'm going to say it again, like I say at the end of all my episodes. Wear a mask, wash your hands, and social distance when you can. President Biden said that vaccinations, all adults will be able to get one in America by the end of May. So I'm extremely hopeful, of course, but the CDC director literally said don't ease up restrictions yet just because we're so close. For herd immunity to take place uh via vaccination. Um so still wear the mask and still wash your hands and still social distance, of course. Um but yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you guys on Tuesday when we talk about climate change, of course. And that's all, folks. See you next time. Bye.